I Am Cologne has officially kicked off this year, and there's been quite a few games that have been pretty interesting so far on day one. There was two big upsets. Of course, G2 got upset by SAW, and of course, Team Spirit got upset by the Mongols. And I'd like to cover both of those games, but I will only be doing the G2 game for now. So without further ado, let's see what went wrong for G2 in this game versus SAW after a quick word from our sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by SkinsMonkey. SkinsMonkey is a site where you can trade skins that you already have to get some skins that you might want. That way you can hop into your next game with some fresh new skins. All you have to do is log into the site through Steam, put in the skins that you don't want anymore, grab the skins that you do, and then click trade. Trades happen almost immediately, and any balance that you don't use in the trade will roll over for a trade that you might do in the future. Right now you can get a free $5 if you were to use code Austin on the site, and if you were to use my code, you would get an additional 5% on top of the 30% deposit bonus. So let's say if you deposit $100, that means you would get $135 if you use my code to deposit. So make sure you guys check out SkinsMonkey, and let's get right back into the video. Alright, so kicking things off here, we do have the G2 versus SAW game, and I'd like to preface this review by saying that, even though SAW did play very, very good, which we will talk about in the demo review as it goes, there's quite a few misplays from G2. I'm just going to use the word misplay to be, well, to be honest with you, I could say questionable plays, but I'll just say misplays. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Regardless, we're going to go ahead and skip the pistol round. It is important to note, though, that in this map, SAW did win both of the pistol rounds, which could be worth talking about. Maybe pistol rounds are a big win condition for an underdog team. I'd like to think so. It's more so actually the second round conversion that I would be more so to look at, and especially here when you see G2 is going in on a full investment, and these are the rounds that can be a make or break. I mean, if you're the better team, like let's say we're in G2's shoes here, you're definitely going to buy. I mean, if you're playing versus an underdog team, I trust Nico, Malbs, even m0NESY, of course m0NESY, to go out there and just bang some heads with the Deagle. I mean, that's exactly why you have them. That's why you have the star-studded lineup. Like, even if you lose pistol, no big deal. Like, we're probably going to win on the next round. So we're going to go ahead and watch how the round goes. Now, as you can see, we do have the standard set of outside smokes, not normally thrown these days. More so the meta is actually to throw the close to mini and garage smokes, or main if you're from EU. This is called main. And these traditional outside smokes that you'd see in CSGO a lot haven't really been thrown that much, but basically the idea here for SAW is they know they're playing against a force buy, so they want to run somebody down secret fast to try to force rotations. And that's pretty much exactly what's going to happen, because if you'll note, Nico has started lower, and off the back of somebody running down and m0NESY not having that info, they're not only going to have Nico play lower, they're actually going to gamble Malbs down lower as well. So here in a second, you'll see Malbs is going to gamble down lower. So based off of the pressure that we just saw Mutrus put onto the secret area, we've rotated 2 down into lower. Now he's completely backed up. I mean, this is just traditional outside lurk stuff. I've talked this into the ground if you've watched any of my demo reviews before. Here, you know what? Here's one of Rain if you want to watch one, top right of your screen. But yes, he's just kind of putting some pressure. Obviously, he has the MAC-10, not a super big deal if he dies, and like I said, we saw that the rotations come in. Now, that wouldn't be such a big deal, and I wouldn't really want to highlight the importance off of that alone, but look at what happens off of this. Now, Malbs did not make a sound cue when he went down lower, and all of SAW, and I'm not really sure how they have this read. I don't know if they just decided to contact ramp. I don't know what it could be. Maybe since they haven't really seen anything, they could even assume that they're on a full eco. They might be stacked on A. So they just contact out ramp. And they do it one better, because not only do they contact out ramp, but this is something that I really like. Now, remember, there's a lot of pressure. This is SAW playing I Am Cologne versus G2. Like, we're talking about the G2 that just signed Malbs and Snacks, and they looked really good. Like, shouldn't they be nervous? They're the underdogs. But look, none of them, all 5 of them, not one of them is nervous, and they're just walking. And then they notice that this window is broken. Now, if this window is broken, that means somebody started lower. Remember, now we didn't actually show this, but Nico did start lower, which means he broke the glass. Now, instead of saying, oh, well, somebody's lower, he just jumps in. This story guy, he just jumps in. And because he jumps in, he's just going to catch Malbs not even looking. And one more thing that's actually kind of insane about this is that whenever you hover your crosshair over somebody, you can see who it is before you kill him. This is 100% what he's doing. Now, don't get me wrong. He's looking at his head. He's ready to kill him. But while he's aiming at him, it'll say enemy Malbs. And then he knows, since Malbs is the ramp player, that this is probably the only guy that's lower. Now, in this case, Nico did start down here as well, but he knows that there's probably nobody else down here, and that is a lot of info. So here in a second, they're going to kill him. When Malbs turns around, bomb will go down immediately after that. What a fantastic round. I mean, and look, this is just against a force buy, and of course, Nico gets his, but it doesn't matter. I love this. The composure from SAW being the underdog team, this is really impressive stuff. But it carries on into the next round. So I will spare you the details here. You know, nothing too crazy, but we do see NiKo goes down to the early spam. You know, they saved over some of those guns, but you see more of the same thing from Saw. They group up, they go ramp. They're not really afraid. I mean, they know NiKo's dead, and Malbs again, he died last round, so he probably doesn't have a good gun. He has a 5.7, and they just go down lower, and they clinically win this round. Another, I love to see this. I mean, I don't want to just sit here and glaze them winning an eco, so let's keep going. This is the big round. This is a swing round right here. So this is going to be first gun round. Now, if you're a G2, this is a round that you're just going in here. You're expecting fully. This is where things kind of kick off. So with that being said, we have the first gun round. And of course, with the first gun round, I mean, if you're G2, you got m0NESY's got his op, NiKo's got his rifle, Malbs has got his rifle. Everything should be pretty solid here going into, again, remember, we're just playing Saw. Like, most of you guys probably haven't even heard of Saw. So it's like, they're probably just like, it's whatever. I mean, people who watch a lot of CS know who Saw is, but it doesn't really matter. So they're going in here. And if you're Snax, what is something that you want to happen here? Well, you want your Opper to do something that he's comfortable with. So he's going to start in towards Heaven. And that makes a lot of sense, right? I mean, we want to make sure they don't go for an A rush. You remember the buy for Saw is not really that great. I mean, we don't really know 100%. They could still have some Mac 10s. Maybe they want to go for a cheeky fast strat here, you know, with you know, the bonus round as they used to call it, but now it's not really so much a bonus round anymore. But yeah, I mean, that's exactly what they're ready for. And because of that, you're letting NiKo start mini. He's spamming. This is a really common start, you know, just putting that pressure. It's a little bit of a gamble because somebody could swing back red, but normally m0NESY would be in towards the garage to kind of stop that. So, you know, even though NiKo is kind of exposed, very, very unlikely that he would die doing this. And it really puts a lot of pressure, right? And so, you know, that's everything is good so far. And like I said, if you're Snax, what do you want to do? You want to trust your individuals to make the right call. Now, so far so good, but once the pressure doesn't come in, what do we have here? m0NESY comes in towards ramp, and him and Malbs are actually going to push ramp. Now, I'm not a hater of this call. This is a timing in the round where after all of the initial outside pressure or lobby pressure comes in, they are going to regroup, throw their outside smokes late. Like, this is that timing, right? And whenever outside pressure is made, that is normally when you want to take lobby as a CT. Again, we've talked about this before if you watch any of my nuke reviews. So this is standard. m0NESY is getting ahead of the curve. The problem is that so is NiKo. And NiKo's kind of looking for this, kind of seeing like, oh, are they doing anything? He's doing some jump spot. Like, I've never seen this jump spot before. I mean, maybe he started it. Maybe I'm behind on meta, but a little risky. And he actually is going to nade the smoke. And, you know, he's trying to get that info. He's getting a little spam kill as well. Nice little lineup there. He must have been watching his rain demos. And, you know, holding for that garage lurk. By the way, important to note, that garage lurk is very strong in this version of CS, right? And we'll even see G2. They like to do this. That's why these outside smokes land the way they do. They give you a little bit of cover to slip into garage to peek that angle that we always talk about on nuke, the back garage angle. Right? So NiKo just kind of hanging out, waiting. The smokes are eventually going to fade. I think he overplays this fight a little bit. I'm not even going to lie, like, not to be critical, but this is, I mean, we're looking at an upset after all. NiKo overstays his welcome a little bit outside and he goes down. Now, don't worry. G2 are going to win this round, right? They are going to win this round. But this is the beginning of like, well, you know, like maybe there could be a weakness to exploit there. I mean, think about it from Saw's perspective. Even though they are going to get picked apart by Malbs and m0NESY here, I mean, you could see that, they left NiKo outside alone. That might mean that we could exploit him later on in the game, right? So we'll go on to the next round here. Now, in the next round, we get pretty much the exact same start, except for the fact that Snax also starts mini, and you know, NiKo is just kind of spotting. He doesn't need to do all of that thing, like the mini spam, putting in that pressure like he did before. And remember what I said, from Saw's perspective, they realized something, that m0NESY wasn't outside last round and NiKo was on an island. Now, Snax is in mini, but look, you can see a clear game plan here. 4 outside early, and m0NESY also is about to rotate from Heaven to go back to ramp again. They're going to do the same thing. Like this, in G2's mind, I don't know if this is like a Snax call. I don't know if this is just a thing that G2 have decided on beforehand, a protocol, but there goes m0NESY, and he wants to go and do this lobby reaggression. At least he's thinking about it, right? Like he's thinking about it. Okay, he's gonna go. And off of this timing, which is like I said, you know, the lobby pressure into the outside smokes, NiKo is going to do the same thing that he did last round. He's going to get spotted though. And after he spots this guy on top of mini, you know, he's going to try his luck. But remember, because look at these flashes, by the way, these flashes are designed for one thing and one thing only, and that is to wrap outside. So you're seeing the entire game plan here for Saw is that because NiKo is on an island, now they're going to smoke mini off, which is where Snax is. We know that m0NESY is not here because of last round, and they're still doing the same thing. This is probably a little bit of anti-stratting, by the the way, in case you're curious. And look at this. They get the mini smoke. They get the hell smoke. There's nothing that Nico can really do. Like, they are coming for him, and they're gonna kill him. And remember, this goes back into last round. Like, if you're the underdog team, you have to have strategies. You have to pick up on everything that happens. And so, based off of Nico's death last round, they made a strat, or maybe they had a strat already to deal with this. Like, there's a lot of prep work that goes into playing a game where you're playing as the underdog. And that's exactly what you just saw there. 100% that's what you see. We get the outside rep coming in, and it's just, everything is going super well. It's a very, very clean round. And if you're G2 here, it's not all is lost. I mean, in a round like this where they get outside, you know, back into CT spawn, you've taken lobby, because remember, like I said, that's just what you do when they take outside. They did that. I mean, there is still a way to win this round, but there's a timer. You know, the longer that Saw take, the better position that we're going to see our Opera get in. You know, we're going to be able to leave lobby. We can play for sites still. Like, there is still a way to lose this round. So just by killing Nico, it's not all lost here, but this is where you're going to see the genius right here. So what happens? Look, remember what I just said. There's a timer. So after all of this lobby stuff gets taken, they get that info, G2's going to come back because they want to have people playing site. They want to be able to hold ramp. And Saw is aware of that. They're aware of this timing. So look at this position. Look at this position that he picks. His name is Ew Jerks. He's waiting for m0NESY's reposition, and look at how patient he is. A lot of us, including myself, would have already peaked. I would have got opt. But he's just holding the ladder. He knows he doesn't, if he dies, they can lose. But as long as he's holding this ladder, nobody can go up heaven. It's just insane. Like, he didn't even kill anybody. I'm just trying to show you the discipline here. Like, you're seeing some crazy CS out of Saw, and it's not just necessarily that G2 have trolled. Because a lot of people want to look at results of upsets and they're like, oh man, G2 is so bad. Or in the case of Spirit losing day, Spirit's so bad, Donk is washed. But you got to give credit to these underdog teams because they obviously are contenders to be tier 1 one day. Like, I'm sure that some of the players on Saw will go on to be some of the better players of all time, like future top 20 players in a couple years. Maybe if not this year. I mean, there's still plenty of time left, right? And maybe next year more likely, but you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how it happens. Like, the tier 2 is where the stars are born. Now, based off of everything that we've just seen, what do we have? Now, m0NESY's starting outside, right? And so this is when we get that timeout in freeze time. We just saw the timeout. We call a little change. Look, guys, they're kind of abusing outside. They killed Nico 2 times. Maybe we should just keep our op outside. Nico, maybe you can start lower one round. You know, you start mini. Remember, do that thing where you're just like here, you could spam mini, whatnot, you know, and there it is. m0NESY starts outside. It's very clear what's going on here. And because of that, wow, by the way, what a shot from Mulbs. But because of that, Saw's hand is kind of forced. They have to rush into ramp here. It looks silly. It looks like they're just rushing. No, I mean, once they lost their outside lurker, they had no choice. The jig is up. And not only that, the round is just over. So I'm going to go ahead and skip on to the next round because there's not much that they can do. And one of the things that I appreciate so much about Saw is that their level of understanding for how G2 is playing is just outrageous. Like, they know what's happening because look at what happens this round. So remember, we've shifted from, you know, playing Nico solo outside, m0NESY pushing ramp with Mulbs, to now m0NESY starting outside. I mean, he's technically mini in this round, but, you know, we know now that m0NESY's outside, so what do we exploit, right? Like, well, we can't really go ramp, you know, because they're going to just play Mulbs, he's going to fall, and then m0NESY's going to be here, making sure we can't, like, it doesn't really help us, right? But since they're moving and they're so focused on outside and they're so focused on ramp, wouldn't this be the perfect time to just, you know, throw in a nice little A hit? And that's exactly what they do. I mean, look, the reason I say that they understand what's happening is because they just call for the perfect strat. I mean, look at this guy. This guy is literally on top mini. And how is this allowed? How is this allowed? It's because G2 doesn't want to do the same thing 2 times in a row. They refuse, right? So that's why m0NESY, instead of starting garage, starts mini, because he wants to go maybe stop a little cheeky vent drop. No, but look, they know. So they're going to drop. He catches the craziest gap of all time, by the way. m0NESY just barely can't see him, right? Which is, I mean, you know, it's a gamble, but he's going to come in here. Hunter's like, they could be mini? What's going on here, right? And so m0NESY naturally is like, they could be mini. Oh, that's insane. What is he? There's no way they could be mini. And then that's when this guy walks through the smoke and he's just like, yeah, dude, I'm here. Okay, but do you see what I'm saying? Like, they have so many things set up here. And in the meantime, m0NESY gets taken down by somebody inside. And it's not done yet because look, they're out. They did the A hit. All of that stuff that we just focused on, that was just a distraction for the actual A hit. You were focused on what I was focused on too, but that's the problem. The comms were, they could be midi, oh, what outside in the smoke? But they're on A, man, they're on A. They literally just created chaos in the comms, and the strat was perfect. The strat was actually perfect. And look at this, it's over. It's over. And despite NiKo, by the way, having really good discipline to sit in back garage and hold for that lurk, because, I mean, he's an outside lurk himself. He knows how it goes. It doesn't even matter. Look, he's in a 1v3. Like, there's nothing you can do. Beautiful CS from Saw. Beautiful. I mean, he could have won it, by the way. He almost did. But my point is, you know, tactically, barring heroics, like, they just get completely outplayed there. Okay, so what do? You go into the next round. Now, what do we know? Well, we've been starting double outside. They know m0NESY is starting outside. You know what? Whatever. You know that NiKo guy, he's our outside player. You know what? This round, just start him ramp. What's happening? This is not normal. They've completely taken G2 out of their comfort zone. And I don't know if it's necessarily like just Snax calling this. Maybe NiKo's like, oh, let's just run ramp. Like what's going on here? We're just doing an instant lobby crunch. Well, that's cool. It doesn't matter, because remember what just worked last round? The obvious gap that we took out A. Yeah, we're just gonna take it again. Look at what happened to Hunter. He's already dead. He like, I mean, I know I want to focus on the tactics side of things, right? Like normally I would look at how this happened, but there's nothing to look at. They threw nothing. Look, there's a top hut molly. There's a vent lurk smoke. That's a default. They literally got flashed through the smoke and just killed him. He's dead. He's dead. And in the meantime, this guy, Snax, he's just chilling in the back like, well, it's over. I just called the worst round I could have called. And now I'm in the back of the site getting destroyed. And it's already over. Like, the round is over. I don't, like, there's nothing to look at. It's, why? And I genuinely, I mean that. Like, why would we do this start? It doesn't make any sense, right? Like, they're forcing errors out of G2. Now, it's not objectively a bad start to do, but it is in the context of what has happened this game. Like I said, remember earlier in the game when NiKo was starting, let me clear up the map a little bit. Remember earlier in the game when NiKo was starting mini and he was spamming whenever the vent lurk smoke came up? Yeah, I do too. And if he was there this round, he actually might have stopped the tragedy that ensues. Like, look, let's just rewind it, because I know you guys probably want to see. Look, so what happens is the vent lurk smoke gets thrown, and this guy, Roman, by the way, that's a really cool update that you can see their names now. Look at him. He comes right into the smoke. This is a strat that we call Godsent, by the way, and he gets flashed through. Boom. Look at this. If NiKo was here spamming, more than likely, Roman would have at least gotten tagged to the point where they would have heard it and expected it. But also, after this flash goes off, he would have been able to trade this guy, which he then would have been able to crossfire with Snax, and maybe they hold it. But instead, look at my boy. Look at what they've done to him. He's just, I mean, like, seriously. And all this is to say, they're forcing these starts, and it doesn't make sense. Like, in the context of the game, it genuinely doesn't make sense. Like, there is a gap at A. There's a gap that, you know, like, as far as I'm concerned, I know I'm kind of bumbling over my words. As far as I'm concerned, Saw has literally played G2. They're exactly where they want them. They knew they were starting m0NESY and to do the double ramp. Then they forced him to start outside. They forced NiKo to start in ramp this time. Like, they're pulling all the spots. Like, they caught a gap in mini at 142. That's not normal for Pro CS. That is something that happens in your pugs, and then you call vote Kick Green because he wasn't watching top mini. Like, that's outrageous. It's literally outrageous. But anyway, we go on to the next round. m0NESY, he has saved the op, or I think he saved it, right? And no, he didn't. He actually got it dropped. It's a hero op from m0NESY. Now, this is why you pay him the big bucks, right? Minus 600k, am I right? He's going to start in towards hut. Now, I do like this approach, except for the fact that they're already lower. Wait, I'm so confused. How is this possible, right? Okay, let's rewind it. Now, by the way, in case you're, I do know, I'm purposefully showcasing this perspective of things. We're watching m0NESY because that's where the focus of the round is. m0NESY got dropped a hero op for a reason, right? He got dropped a hero op so they could win. So we're watching his POV, but somehow they're just dropping 3 people down Fen. And this is perfect though, but think about it. Literally, think about it. What are they going to stop them with? Like, they can't stop them. They don't have nades. They don't have rifles to spam because they just lost all their money. They had enough for a hero op. You know, gamble that you take sometimes. Yeah, but we'll just drop vent with 3, and they're not going to start one lower. We're faster than them, and if the ramp guy is there, we'll beat him. I can't believe what I'm saying. Like, it all makes sense. It all makes sense, and that's the thing. You don't normally see calling like this from a tier 2 team against one of the best teams in the world. You just don't. Okay, so let's calm down. Now, if I'm G2, what I want to say is, I don't know a lot about CS, but if I'm getting outcalled, playing into everything that the opponent wants, I'm going to say, guys, just play a normal round. Well, obviously, whatever we're doing, all these adaptations that we're making, you know, all these reads we think we have, that's what they want us to have. Just play a normal round. And what's a normal round look like? Well, a normal round is where you let NiKo do what he normally does outside. You let m0NESY float around and support him. You let mobs anchor the ramp position, and you let Hunter and Snax probably whole day, right? All right, and that's going to be a normal round. By the way, just a small detail that I actually appreciate a lot. They did drop the T molly over to NiKo. That way he would get the bigger molly for outside. Just a small detail that, you know, just worth noting. And then what we're going to see here is exactly what I said. So normal round, NiKo's first time, by the way, going to be aggressive outside, and m0NESY goes for something aggressive in towards mini. Now, he already tried this once, but it was, you know, he played into their hand before. And we got a first opening in quite some time. And we also have NiKo in a really good position. Now, because of this, m0NESY is actually able to rotate. And remember, NiKo's in a good spot. Now, this spot is really good. A while back, we actually watched a demo review of how ZywOo got like a 2.42 rating. And I explained to you that in order to let the op farm, Apex was playing this position right here that NiKo is playing. And the reason was because if they ever threw outside smokes as a fake and never cleared back red, well, they just got to stack ramp and A pretty much every round. And that's exactly what you're about to see happen here. So we leave NiKo in this position. Nobody ever really comes out here to clear him. And because of that, we've already lost another person, by the way. Because of that, we have full info. They're not coming here. And it just lets m0NESY be in a position where he can instantly rotate. Like in this heaven position, he can go wherever he's needed. As you just saw, he can help outside. He can drop back sight. He can instantly go to ramp. And that's it. You know, this is a standard round. Like, I want G2 to play like this all the time, because now look, NiKo's pushing, everybody looks confident. It's like all of a sudden, if you just took the score away, you're like, yeah, I mean, this is how G2 should always be playing, right? All right, so we're gonna go into the next round here, and what I can appreciate is that we basically get the same start, right? So NiKo's gonna be outside with m0NESY, and it's all gonna be mostly the same. And remember what Saw did last round? They actually didn't throw outside smokes, and that's why NiKo was allowed to stay back red. And obviously they know that because NiKo got spotted at the end of the round. They know he played aggressive, so it's pretty obvious at some point this round, Saw is more than likely going to throw outside smokes, right? So because of that, they actually start the round in a pretty smart way, all things considered. What that is that they're going to start mobs lower right away. Now, normally whenever you start somebody lower, like the ramp player, that is, if you start the ramp player down B right away, you have your opera play there. That's just standard. But instead, what happens is, well, nobody's playing ramp this round. I guess Mulbs' gun is playing ramp, but nobody's playing ramp this round, right? And because of that, we actually get to have a lot of info. What we get to do is we get to show the fact that we have our op and our rifle spamming. And from Saw's perspective, normally, whoever drops lower right away is NiKo or m0NESY, right? And by hearing both of them, or, well, presumably both of them here soon, whenever they make noise, they're probably not going to expect for one to be lower. Now, that's exactly why Mulbs is down. You know, it's actually a perfect start. So far, so good. m0NESY even rotates into ramp late. It's actually looking pretty solid. Now, remember earlier when I said that you want to trust your individuals to not make mistakes, right? Well, that's exactly what you want from NiKo here. Now, he spots the opper in towards back red. Now, he is alone. The entire outside, it all relies on him. He needs to just stay alive. The last thing he needs to do is solo challenge this opera, right? He just don't peek the opera, because if you do, oh my god. I mean, look, I get it. It's hard. You need to have info outside, but at the same time, it's the upper, man. And you already know that they cross lower, right? And because this is a really important point, by the way, you already know they cross lower, which means that your mini player, they can hold for him from secret, which means that NiKo, my brother, this upper is going to be able to cross. He just watched you jump to the left. Of course he's going to fight you. Now, I'm sure this is a death where right after he goes, oh, and he does the eye rolls in the back of his head thing. But it's like, these are your individuals, man. Like, you can't have this kind of mistake happen. And then, you know, the thing is that it wouldn't even be that bad. Except that off the back of this kill, the lobby lurk for Saw activates. This man, Roman, he literally walks through the door smoke. He just walks through because he knows he can. And he catches Snax. So the round is just completely lost off the back of that, by the way. That is insane. And it's like, man, if they win this round, it would have been 4-7 more than likely because of the money, 5-7 half, win the pistol, then you're 7-7 more than likely, and then you're fine, right? If you're G2, yeah, you know, we had a slow start, we lost pistol, it's fine. You know, we're still going to win this map, probably going to win this series. But no, now look, you're losing. And look, because of NiKo's death, not only did he cause chaos and allow for the lobby lurk to activate, but look, all of this area outside is completely open. And it's fine, right? I mean, it's part of the gamble, but you know, it doesn't matter because it's going to pull Mobs up. It's going to pull that lower player up. And let's not forget the rest of the squad. We've been looking at 2 players. Everybody else is lower. We've been looking at this Story guy, this Roman guy. Well, both of them finally get shut down. Oh, everything's fine. Yeah, except for the fact that you've completely lost the B site. And because of all the chaos, Mobs is out of position, tries to overextend. He runs out the right side of ramp, by the way. He's fighting it. It's all gone terribly wrong. It's all gone terribly wrong. And I'm not sure why. It's hard to speculate from the outside POV. Is it the outside player? Is it Nico that's calling these setups? Is it m0NESY that's calling these setups? Is he calling where he wants to start? You know, some IGLs, they like to say, hey, you know, I'm more comfortable if you just say what you want to do. Occasionally, I'll tell you to go for a pick for a setup, right? Or is it Snax that's calling all of these starts, right? I don't know. Maybe it's a combination of all 3. But either way, they're not going to win this post plant, or this retake, I should say, and they're going to be forced to save. And look at that. They're down 8-3. Not what I was expecting to see when I was watching this morning, but regardless, we go into the final round. Now, the final round, we get a little bit of normalcy. And I say that because we finally get to see Nico starts mini. I was going to say money, but Nico starts mini. We got the 2A players, we got Mobs at ramp, and m0NESY spotting outside. This is pretty much standard nuke. But it's funny that the 2 rounds so far that they have played standard nuke have been pretty convincing. So we get the standard outside smokestone yet again. Nades to smoke, we get a kill. And then now that the outside smokes are still up, m0NESY actually just threw a flash to clear close mini. But the problem is that this flash is extremely mistimed because the smokes are fading. So, yeah. Anyway, so Nico somehow manages to die yet again outside, giving them back, you know, the 4v4. We've got lower. Rotate is already down. Mobs is here, so, you know, it should be fine. But that lobby lurk, he's still around, so there's a chance that this round could get out of hand. m0NESY is also rotated in, so, you know, it should be fine. But Snax comes down the vent. It's over. They win this round. And by the way, I just want to point out that m0NESY, he knows, by the way. He knew the entire time. So yeah, it was one of the CT sides of all time from G2, but I've gone ahead and skipped. They got 8 rounds on CT side, of course, and then, of course, they won the pistol and the follow-up eco. Full eco it was, and I don't really want to talk about it, so we're going to go right into the first gun round of the second half. It is 10-4. We need a victory here for G2. We need a round conversion, and Mobs is going to start it off here. Going to get flashed through the smoke, gets caught. Maybe mistimed the flash there. I mean, Arrows was blind, so hard to say. But yeah, I mean, not ideal, is it? Not ideal to start your pretty much most important round of the game in a 4-on-5. So what do you do from here? Well, if you're G2, mostly you're gonna need to throw some outside smokes, and that's exactly what Snax just did. He threw one outside smoke, just one for Nico to lurk outside with the second one, and they're gonna group up. I mean, you know, let's highlight this from the Saw guy's perspective. They have 2 people in secret, so they're gonna know pretty much right away that this is not convincing. You know, they know, and I really like that, by the way, that they've rotated double into lower. Now the kill from m0NESY comes in, and then they do the same thing back. Like, we're just looking at the map POV. They've gambled off a lower, just like we saw in the first half. The same thing that happened to G2, and the round will go the way pretty much of G2 after that, and not too much that they can say. All right, so off the back of the first gun round, G2 are going to go right into a second round. Now, I do like this. They are going to throw the outside smokes, and they're going to let Nico go outside. Now, this is Nico. We're talking one of the best outside lurks of all time, and he's going to lurk into garage this round. At least that's his plan. In the meantime, the boys have gone in towards ramp. So let me just rewind it a little bit because I wanted to show this. So they're going to come in towards ramp. Now, this is a very, very early ramp hit. They're going to go through the smoke, actually. And the reason, by the way, that they're doing this is not because they don't know how to, you know, lurk outside with smokes. It's because they want to make it look like they're doing a B split. So we've got our boy, EOJerks. He's going to catch the kill onto Snax. He's going to fall. The idea being that this is going to force a rotate from Story to come support our boy in ramp. Now, it actually doesn't work out that way because, well, I mean, he got the kill, he lived, and also there's another person here. So this guy doesn't even need to turn. And the idea, again, like I said, was to get this guy to look away, so that way Nico could lurk into garage. Remember, I talked about this earlier, that the smoke set is designed for that. And even though Nico's ready for somebody to be back garage, he's not ready for the opper. This is something that Shiro likes to do as well, so unlucky. Now, with that being said, G2 are in a 3-on-5, and I'm going to be completely honest with you, unless Saw just start running at them, there is pretty much no way to lose this on Nuke. I mean, I'm not even joking. Like, there is, like, no way. Like, unless somebody trolls really, really hard, like it's going to be hard for them to lose this. And by the way, this guy, he's a really good ramp player. Any of you guys that compete or want to learn how to anchor towards ramp, I would definitely recommend checking out this guy's POVs. I love the way he plays. I love the way he repositions. Definitely somebody to keep your eye on going into future matches. Yeah, that's going to be a round right there. That's beautiful round from Saw. I mean, I like the idea from G2. I'm not even going to lie. I thought it was pretty clever, but it just does not get the job done. It's going to force us into the next round here, which is going to be the Godsend strat that I talked about last half, where Saw ran it against them. This time, I mean, you know, G2, they're running it. You know, both of our entries are on site. They're both full blind. And, well, I mean, you know, what happens next is pretty straight. And pretty much what happens next is Hunter's going to somehow get the first and the second. So there's a real chance for G2 to pull this round back. But unfortunately, they just don't have the guns to be able to do it. And look at this. They're just stopping them. They're being annoying, making it hard to get the bomb down. And you never really feel comfortable on a post plant like this, especially when they're just coming out and fighting you. And look at the way that this retake is structured. I mean, it's so good. They don't even let you plant. They deny with utility, and then they also fight. And did you see how the coordinated that was? I mean, you had the Opper holding front silo while the Rifler steps out as well. And then afterwards, they all group up. So that way, whenever the tap comes in, they know that it's a 1-on-3. What do I mean by that, by the way? Well, in a 2-on-3, when somebody's planting, if they all swing out heaven, they're pretty much just gonna win. Because, I mean, first of all, NiKo has a Glock. And second of all, it's just a simple numbers thing. 3 versus 1 guy, and then the other guy that's planting. It's very well played from Saw. Like, the entire round is very well played. Even though G2 had a chance to win that half buy, it just gets absolutely dealt with. And it's just like the small things, like the way that the Opper holds for the guy back silo while the Rifler fights, it just shows how much work that a team like Saw is putting in. They have protocols for everything. I mean, I haven't seen a round where they look like they don't know what they're doing yet. Anyway, that's going to bring us into the final round of the game. Spoiler alert, by the way, yeah, G2 lose here. And what is the idea? So, of course, we have the outside smokes thrown. m0NESY and NiKo are going to be walking into garage, or at least they're going to go pretend like they're going secret, but actually walk into garage. And Hunter's going to jump top mini, and he'll also hold the secret aggression as well as fighting towards credit, or maybe even coming to drop and trade mini, right? In the meantime, we have double lobby lurks. Now, the idea for this could be that after the outside chaos goes on, somebody flashes mini for the boys to come through. Or you could have somebody like Malbs walk out and get a kill, die, or whatever, and then they're not expecting snacks as a second lobby lurk. A lot of opportunities in a round like this. It just relies on the individuals getting the kills that they need to get. And look at this. We've got everybody in position. We've got Malbs. He's, you know, holding for everything while Snacks is throwing a utility from the ramp. And so far, so good. I mean, they've baited out a lot of utility with that first set, and they got Hunter into a good position. Again, like I said, he's holding secret, making sure nobody peeks. Second set of outside utility is coming in. m0NESY and NiKo. I mean, look, these two guys coming together with rifles, I mean, you're expecting greatness from them. And that's exactly what you're going to get here. So Malbs, he's going to creep up in the smoke. He knows that off the back of all that chaos, remember what happened earlier when Roman walked through the door smoke? He's waiting for a similar timing. He's waiting for m0NESY and NiKo to create chaos for him to be able to walk through. Now, the problem is that unfortunately for him, the door smoke is about to fade. And once the door smoke fades, well, he didn't need to do this, but I guess he felt like he was going to make the difference in the round, and he peeks right into the op, which, by the way, is hilarious that he's opping at the second vent. I don't know if I see an opper start there in a minute. Think about what he was just doing. He was holding a smoke with an op from the second vent. If they were to do an execute, he's just dead. But he just knows that that's not what they're going to call. Nobody calls an A exec against it right here. I mean, the only person that would be crazy enough to do that is Kerrigan, and I don't see him in the server. So either way, not all hope is lost, because remember, they have the second lobby lurk. I mean, granted, Snacks was throwing utility, so it's not like they don't know, but, you know, it's a question mark. Anyway, so m0NESY and NiKo, they are going to make their way into garage. We get the first kill. NiKo spots both of them here. Unfortunately, he doesn't get the kill. m0NESY now will pick it up from his POV. Oh, he's number 8. He's going to get the first and the second, almost. Hunter, again, like I said, the entire round is structured around this right here. Hunter, you're going to drop into mini to get that trade. Now, I'm pretty sure he does get the kill. I'm pretty sure he does. Yeah, there it comes. So, not all hope is lost. 30 seconds on the clock. Everything is looking good. But you'll note that the ramp player is Heaven, and he's made himself known. He just shot. Now, because he did that, they never actually saw this guy backside. It's an element of surprise. He's completely hidden. Now, if they're name plating, which somebody's probably keeping track, they'll say that there's still an A player. But it doesn't even matter, because even though he's hidden, this guy is just popping off. He's gotten 2 kills, he flashes, and it's like, well, now they know he's backside. It doesn't matter. He doubles up with his homie, and they just double peek, and there it is. It's just beauty. beauty in Counter-Strike. And even though G2 did not play a very good game, I'm just going to be honest, they didn't play a very good game. You got to give credit to the Saw guys, and that's pretty much it. That's how G2 got demolished by Saw. And I'm going to go ahead and cover the Spirit game next. It'll probably be up tomorrow on my channel. If you guys did enjoy the review, let me know as well some of your thoughts on this. Maybe you thought I was wrong. Maybe you agree with something I said. Maybe you have questions. Comment them below. I will make sure to respond to most of them as long as, you know, I didn't answer them in the review themselves. And if you enjoyed, make sure you guys saw it. Whatever, I'm leaving it in. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, like it, and I'll see you guys in the next review. Bye-bye.